Welcome to my channel. This is Hot Mess and Hot Glue. My name is Lynn. Let's go ahead and have some fun. So I've got a few projects here for you today in this video, and what I love about them is they're actually pretty decent size and for next to no money. And so, you know, when you can get a substantial decor piece for next to nothing, it's a winner in my book. And for this first project, I'm just going to start by using 3 different Christmas tree forms, and on the first one I thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of poke some holes. Now, I've talked about the crocodile before. I absolutely love it. I'll make sure to have it linked in my description box below. This is one of those items that it is nice to have, and it's fun to be able to add different kind of design elements, but this isn't one of those staple items that I feel like I can't live without. Okay. The items I think I can't live without are definitely my glue gun, but also my heat gun. So as I'm poking all these holes in here, I just wanted to take a quick minute and thank Teresa over at Teresa B DIY. She is the host of today's little playlist that we're put together, and what she does is every month she does a crafting for a cause, and she gave me such an honor by asking me to be her co-host this month of December. And the cause that we're crafting for this month is heart support. Now, if you've followed me, you know my channel, you know heart support's always involved in my channel, and I'm always trying to let everyone know about the resources and where you can get a lot of really good free help. Now, I also respect that a lot of you come here just for the crafts, okay? So I will get into all of the amazing things that Heart Support is doing and what they are capable of doing and what a small donation can do to help so many people at the end of the video. Let's just continue with what you're here for, and that's the crafting. So just using some electrical tape. I like to use electrical tape when I'm taping things off. I find I get a really nice crisp line, but also because you can kind of pull it, it works really good on areas that have maybe like irregular shapes or like even rounded objects. So I've used electrical tape multiple times to tape things off. And like I said, I always seem to get one of the best outcomes with it. Pardon me. Now, to get the stain color on this tree here, I did use antiquing wax, and I just had this kind of random little string that was kind of in my macrame craft stash. And so I just decided to thread this through and kind of just in and out through all the hoops, create little hoops in the holes just to add just a little bit of character. I don't know. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. And this was incredibly simple. And I really enjoyed the process. For one, it was kind of relaxing, but I feel like the end result is different enough that it's not something that I've seen oversaturated here on YouTube. Maybe it's a unique idea for some. I felt like it was for me. And I really liked the contrasting colors of that stained wood effect. And then the black kind of cord going through it. It has a little bit more of a modern kind of clean look to it. I just really enjoyed it, and I thought this tree came out really cute. Now, I have 2 other tree forms that I'm working with, so once I get this all taped up and attached and all that, I'm gonna go back to the one that we were painting with the painter tape stripes. Now, I did use the typical green paint that I use in a lot of my videos, and I do have the information for that listed in my description box. And now I didn't realize how uneven the lines were until I was actually hanging this piece up for the decoration part of it. But you can see, you know, that it's not the most even. However, that just didn't bother me. I still really liked the way this was looking. Now, I chose at the last minute that since I really liked that darker stained contrast, that I would go in with a smaller paintbrush, and I would add some of the antiquing wax to give it a stained effect on those striped areas. And I was glad that I did that. I thought it came out with a really nice result. Now, on the third one here, I am going to be using some fabric, and it's a light colored fabric, so I'm going to paint this tree white just to make sure that I get full coverage and you don't see the tree form itself coming through the fabric. This is just a scrap piece of fabric that I have from, it's like an IKEA napkin or like kitchen towel. And I want to say that there was like 3 in a pack. I paid maybe $2 for all of them. Really good deal. And I actually have like a couple of these because I use these exact kitchen towels in my kitchen. But I really liked the pattern, and so when I had bought them, I'd bought extra. So now I'm just going to trim it up and make sure that the fabric kind of just sits nice and tightly along the outline of the tree itself. Now, once that's completely covered, it's just a matter of kind of figuring out how I want to arrange these. Now, I have this very old thrifted wood frame that I got. I think I paid 90 cents for it at a thrift store in California. They had the best prices, and I absolutely miss them. I just had gone over it years ago with some some black paint, and then I slightly roughed up the edges, and that's it. It's just been sitting in my stash like that for the longest time. So it felt like a great way to finally put a really good size frame to use, and I love the different colors. I love the textures. I love everything about this. And this is a really good size. I have this kind of shown right now up against the fireplace, and I just love how large it is. And I paid $4 or $5 for it. I mean, I am just amazed at how large this is and how easy. Now for this next project, Plaid sent me this wood round, and I loved the palette effect to it, and I knew I wanted to do some kind of color blocking, and I love the way it looks when you've got stained wood and a really nice crisp paint color. So I'm obsessed with this wood stain. It's a water-based wood stain, and so I don't have to go to the garage, I don't have to go to the shed, there's no fumes, nothing. If it gets on my hands, I just wipe it right off, and it dries so fast. I just love everything about this. I do have this linked in my description box below. Now, the stained color for this is Special Walnut. I'm then going to take the white chalk paint. It's just Rust-Oleum's, I believe it's Fresh Linen or something, and I'm going to do 2 coats on this slat here that you see me painting, and then for the other 2 I decided to go in with a slightly different color, and I'm going to use like a green color. It's actually, the name of it is Aloe, and it's really kind of a muted soft green, and I thought that it would be a really nice complement because a lot of the green that I've been using this year has been that darker hunter green, and I really liked the way that these 2 greens look together. So while the green is drying, I decided to start working on kind of the accent piece, which is going to be that white strip. Now, the reason why I painted it white is because I knew I had this ribbon on hand, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. I think the original price was $9, but I paid, you know, I bought it when it was 50% off because there's no way I'm paying that much for ribbon. So using some matte Mod Podge, I'm just going to put a very generous amount. Didn't actually mean to put that much on there, but we're gonna make use of it anyway. So I'm just gonna spread this generous amount of Mod Podge all over the white strip here. Then what I do is just kind of take the ribbon, place it on top, and then use all that leftover and kind of oozing, it's such a gross way to explain it, the Mod Podge that's kind of extra and coming through, okay? So that will give that a really nice hardened finish. Now, I'm going to use this stencil. Now, this stencil is part of like a larger stencil that I got from Chalk Couture. I will say there's a lot of kind of like mixed thoughts in the crafting community about Chalk Couture. I'm not going to ever push anything on anyone. I support a friend of mine who she is a designer, and I love the materials and stuff. Now, I'm not using an actual Chalk Couture paste. I'm using one that Plaid sent me just to kind of try it out and see how it worked, and I really liked it. And so if you're interested in Chalk Couture, I have no problem. I will, just kind of telling you, who to go to and what information to grab and all that. So all of that will be linked in my description box below. But it was a really fun way to not have to break out my machine and to kind of keep it pretty simple. And what's neat too is when I got the paste from Plaid, it says that it can also be used with stencils. So I did try one project with the stencil and I liked it. I just didn't like how it looked like a stencil. So anyway, as you see here, I'm just adding a few embellishments, and that's it for this guy. Now, this was so easy, and there's the beauty and the simplicity of this one is really my favorite. I absolutely love just how straightforward, how crisp, and how clean it is. And that muted green is just gorgeous. Now, we're going to make another pretty large size wall hanging. So I don't know why this part of the recording is backwards, but everything is backwards and it's kind of obnoxious to watch. So I apologize for that in advance. I'm taking a Dollar Tree foam board and I'm taking this wall decal sticker that I got at Walmart, and it was $2.98. So far we're $4 into it. So you figure $3 for the stickers and then $1 for the foam board. And all I'm doing is arranging these stickers onto the foam board in a way that I think looks good. And that's it. There's no cutting machine. There was nothing fancy needed. And the only decision I made that I kind of did off camera was when I went to trim the piece itself, I decided to trim it to the shape of an existing picture that I had on the wall. And all I did was I took some masking tape and I just kind of looped it, and I attached the foam board with masking tape to the front of the frame. And that's how in the beginning of the project you saw that it was a framed piece of art. It's just because it's literally taped to the front. And it came out so good, and I didn't have to add any new holes to the walls. I didn't have to take anything down. And oh, my kitty just wanted everything to do with these projects. I just was in her space and she wanted every part of it. So I debated on doing kind of a wood frame, but I really wanted to keep it simple. So here you can see it's on a frame, but it's simply because I have it taped on there with masking tape. I mean, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. I mean, well, except for the little corner that I lifted, but I love that. I absolutely love the fact that if you didn't know that this was just a piece of foam board taped onto a artwork, you just wouldn't know. You would think that it was something that cost a lot more than what it actually did. Now, the next project is pretty fun. This actually really didn't cost me anything. If you think about it, I didn't have to actually buy anything specific for it. However, the fake Christmas tree that we've had for years, it broke, but I didn't have the heart to just kind of get rid of it. And I have a ton of overhead shelving and a lot of space that I can make just a really fun winter wonderland. So I decided I was going to take these broken pieces and just reuse them almost as garlands. So I thought that by taking these two big pieces and by attaching them with just some cord that I had in my stash, I did end up using a couple zip ties just to make sure that it was nice and stable. And yes, Kitty went bananas over this one. And so once I got this completely wrapped and attached, now I've mentioned it before, my bow making skills are just sad. I'm not going to show it until I am better at it. I'm not ready for that kind of negativity in my life. I just can't broadcast such an area that I'm just not at all skilled in. So once I get these attached, it's just a matter of kind of fluffing and forming the branches. And then I'm just going to go through with some random spare floral picks that I had. And I'm just kind of adding a little bit of color and dimension to them. And that is what really kind of takes this up a notch by just adding a couple little added greenery picks to them. It just completely went from this really boring and drab swag to something that was a lot nicer. Now, I had a ton of fun with these projects, and again, I feel like these were just extremely cost effective. You pay next to nothing, and they are so massive. I'm so excited about these, and I absolutely love them. Now, I do want to go back and touch base. I want to thank Teresa B for hosting the Crafting for a Cause. I think it's absolutely amazing. When she reached out to me and she had mentioned that, she had noticed in my videos that I was a definite advocate for mental health. And it was really nice because, this time of year is, quite honestly, it is not the most wonderful time of year for everyone. So on the screen, I've got some fun and very sad statistics and things that really open our eyes to what's going on in the world. And one thing that I really want to drive home to everybody is the suicide rate is absolutely heartbreaking. and it's a true epidemic. And kids need to know where to go. Parents need to know where to help point. And we've got to get our children the right help. And heart support is there. It's what they do. And the smallest donation really goes so far. It is the gift that can really help save a life.